Donald Trump, not guilty. I wonder how many right-wingers are going to post videos with a thumbnail with Trump mugshot or something making him look like he's a tough guy. Got him. Anyway, my prediction on the results of this hush money trial is that he is found not guilty. I'll explain why. Now, while right-wing media would like you to believe that there's no way he's going to get a fair trial, this is all, liberal area, blah, 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 the reality is, and this is as someone who has worked in New York, I used to live in New York City for quite some time, there's a lot of MAGA in New York. Clearly not enough to win elections, but there's a lot of MAGA. Place where I used to live, there was a MAGA house 3 blocks away, right? Huge Trump flags everywhere. Just a random person so into Trump that they got their flags everywhere. And think about it. If this place is so partisan and it's all blue, whatever, that no way you get a fair trial, there's no way someone would feel comfortable putting up those kinds of flags in their yard, right? Because you think, if you accept the reality that's presented by right-wing media about how things are in New York, relevant to this trial, of course, someone can't do that, right? Because you're going to be getting, especially like a Tim Pool. Anyway, you're going to get attacked, you're going to get harassed, they're going to try to burn your house down. So the fact that someone feels comfortable putting those flags up, clearly the reality that they're living in is not the one that's painted by right-wing media. Where I am now, there's a neighbor just down the block. I don't know officially she's MAGA, but she sounds MAGA. I mean, the kinds of videos she's sending me, the types of things that she says, sounds like MAGA to me. She's very religious, and I haven't talked to her about this, but if I were to guess and I talked to her, she'd be like, this is it's all political. It's all like pretty much whatever Fox News is saying is probably what she would say, right? And that's this is without me even putting in any effort in terms of it's so easy for me to find MAGA in New York, right? And in the surrounding areas, so the New York, New Jersey, Northeast, lots of MAGA, right? Also, remember this is New York where Trump is from, right? And you look at, CNBC, they and Fox Business, these people are big Trump supporters, right? Look at Bartiromo, whatever her name is, that crazy woman, right? These are all New Yorkers, right? Not just New Yorkers, very wealthy New Yorkers, business people, right? Who's their audience, right? Who's watching this stuff? Who's watching on a daily basis, Jim Cramer and all these people, talking about the stock market and this and that, and the CEO and investors, blah, blah, blah. Who's watching that? New Yorkers, all right? You got, the stock market, right? You have investors, and a lot of these people and their families and their friends live in New York, right? The idea that none of them, and that's just one group, right? This is not specifically the MAGA group. MAGA, I put as a separate group. So MAGA is here, right, with their flag houses. And then you have this group of people, again, who are watching Fox Business or whatever, is New York people, right? The idea that none of them are on the jury is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm only pointing out these 2 small groups. There's other groups as well that have this sort of attitude. You have even within the so-called black community, you have people that are getting caught up in that stuff too. That's why you have these, MAGA rappers and, Trump trying to do his sneaker thing. And, there's definitely, for sure, people in the hood that are pro-Trump, right? So there's several categories of people. And when you add them all up, this amounts to a ton of people in New York that are all in the category where they would look at this thing as whatever Fox presents it as. It's political, it's partisan, blah, 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 right? But I have to pause myself because just because they think like that doesn't mean that they're going to ignore the evidence. And there's a lot of evidence, right? It doesn't look good for Trump. So the main way for you to be like not guilty is you'd have to be like, I'm not even gonna look. I'm ignoring it. Oh, whatever. Yeah, okay. Yeah, the Democrats do it too. So that's the MAGA response. Anybody MAGA, I don't think they care about the evidence. It doesn't matter what evidence you show. But what about all the rest of these groups of people? Now, I think where I might have gone wrong is a lot of what I said so far is based on them not being on the jury. If I were to walk up to the average person in these groups on the street and ask them about the trial, I'm sure that the response I would get would lean towards, this is somebody who would put a not guilty, right? They'd be like, it's political partisan, whatever Fox News. That's what they would be saying to me. However, how many of these people, if you put them on the jury and force them to actually see the evidence, right? Because most of the people who I'm talking about haven't seen the evidence. They haven't actually looked into it, right? They're just being fed talking points by Fox News and other people. But remember, the jury, regardless of what your ideology is or whatever it is, you're being forced to see the evidence, to see the truth, right? So since there's so much evidence against Trump, to get a not guilty, the main way is to just deny the truth. So MAGA, just like, whatever, in one ear, not the other. Okay, but what about the rest of the people? What about the Wall Street types? That's how he's found guilty. That's how he's found guilty, because MAGA would be the only reliable group of people that are going to just, it doesn't matter what amount of evidence, they're just going to say not guilty. No other group, in my view, is going to be that reliably, pro-Trump. So I think that if he doesn't get a MAGA person, even though there's a good chance he might get a MAGA person, not, when I say good chance, I don't mean like it's highly likely, but I would just say it wouldn't be shocking to me if there's a MAGA person, even MAGA friendly person in the jury. And the reality is that is a small group of people, and it's a jury is not that many. It's a small number of people, right? So when you deal with a small group, the odds of one of them being MAGA, is not going to be very high. But there's enough MAGA that I wouldn't be shocked if somebody from MAGA was on there. Again, MAGA friendly. I don't know, man. I think I have to admit that there's some level of bias going on with me on this, because it's just hard for me to see Trump being held accountable. In fact, the way I would potentially process this is, which deviates from the way I would normally look at things, but so there's the bias, right? Is the more severe the consequences of him being found guilty, the more likely he is to be not found not guilty. So that's a general thing. The higher the risk to Trump in terms of him losing, the lower the chance that he actually loses, right? Him being found guilty, you have to pay $1 million, even a few $100 million. That can happen. I can see that. Him getting fined here and there, sure. Prison time? Somehow, I just don't see that happening. It's going to get delayed, mistrial, he ends up getting elected and pardoning himself. I don't know. I just don't see it. But I'm leaning towards Trump being found not guilty. I'm not strong on that. This is kind of like the next election, unfortunately. So it could really go either way. But if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet on Trump being found not guilty. And the reason for it would be not because of lack of evidence, not because of, prosecutors' mistakes or something. It's going to be because one person on that jury, either they're MAGA or they're somehow compromised. They're the ones that end up messing it up, right? Because remember, they have to get unanimous, man. It has to be unanimous. All it takes is one. I think another issue as well is there's an incentive to find him not guilty, because if he's found guilty, then everyone's going to know that you voted guilty for Trump, right? So let's put it this way. If he's found guilty, right, I'm pretty sure we're going to get to know, if we don't already know, the full list of jury members. So every single member of that jury, the world is going to know that they voted that Trump was guilty. So if you're MAGA friendly, right-leaning, I mean, how's that going to look, right? You're going to have a lot of people that are angry with you that you help these liberals, whatever, with Trump. So I think fear of that kind of being ostracized, and the fact that the votes would be anonymous, not that people would know which juror said not guilty, but based on that, that's another thing why someone would be like, okay, I see he's guilty, but I'm just going to pretend like I didn't see him. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not sure. Then there's the other side. The other side is if he's found not guilty and you voted not guilty and you're really, you know, a right winger and you're active in that community, you're going to be regarded as a hero. This could be a huge business opportunity. You can blow up your social media big time. Think about it. If I'm a right winger, I'm on this jury, and I'm really self-interested. I'll go and vote not guilty, right? And then when Trump wins his case, mistrial, whatever, I'll go and broadcast, to everyone that I voted not guilty. And then, right wing media will pick it up. The influencers on the right will pick it up and they'll put it out there. And then I'll get interviewed by Fox News and whatever. And, next thing you know, I go from 500 followers to, 50,000 followers, right? And then start making some money, selling some merch or something like that. So, the super selfish, opportunist, just one person thinking like that, thinking business from a business standpoint, there's a big opportunity for you to say you're not guilty and just pretend like, oh, we don't know if he really meant to do it, So I don't know, man. That's why I'm at on that. I'll just leave it at that. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.